I was mentioning the notion of a Medicare for all type of universal healthcare system here in the United States of America, and this commenter says Medicare sucks. Plus, the country can do better if Washington ever stop the stupid spending. I agree wholeheartedly with that last part. Right, the stupid spending is ridiculous, and I think the stupid spending is something that both sides of the political aisle can actually agree on. Right, essential spending is where we have a severe disagreement. Right, I think that people on the conservative right, and we're going to get to Medicare in just a second. My apologies, I'm just going to kind of ramble for a minute here, but people on the conservative right think it's more essential to continue to spend more and more and more and more and more on, for example, the Department of Defense, whereas people on the left think that we should cut back on that type of essential spending and spend more effort into servicing the citizens of the United States of America through things like universal health care. Maybe, you know, state-funded community college for 2 years, things like that. Anyway, I think that when you talk to people on both sides of the aisle and they look at some of the really stupid stuff that gets spent in Washington, D.C., I think that you could find some consensus there. I don't mind that we pay taxes. We as a society pay taxes, right? Sometimes the numbers are larger than I like to see. But I also understand that that's how we fund a society. That's how we pay for defense. That's how we pay for roads and schools and park districts and community colleges and fire and police protection and National Guard troops to respond in the case of a natural disaster. So I agree with you. Washington needs to not only Washington, but each and every state, county, and town could probably do way better at spending our money for us, to better serve us, to better serve the population. I think we can agree on some of that. Medicare. To say Medicare sucks is something that I would have to disagree with. If you say Medicare is severely flawed, 100% agree. There are things that we can improve greatly on when it comes to Medicare. Absolutely. Medicare sucks. Disagree. Medicare has made sure that millions of elderly people in this country don't live in abject poverty because they have to pay for medical bills or cover the medical bills that they otherwise wouldn't be able to pay. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be able to live in abject poverty. They would lose everything. I often talk about my father. My father lived in this room right here. This was his bedroom for the last 4 years of his life. And he did home dialysis. There was over here in the corner, there was like a lounge chair set up that he would sit in with a little tray next to it, and he would drain and refill and do his dialysis right here in the home. And they would send boxes and boxes and boxes of supplies that would be stacked up in the closet over here. And you got the breakdown of what it all cost and what Medicare, that he never had to pay for it because he was on Medicare. Now, my father had a laundry list of ailments. Let's just back up a moment here. My father was an insulin-dependent diabetic. He had 2 strokes and a heart attack. At the time of his death, he was on his second pacemaker. They found cancer on one of his kidneys and froze it. Removed it and found cancer on his other kidney. Froze it. He had prostate cancer. High blood pressure, fluid restrictions. Just he was held together with he had a gallstone blow out a chunk of his pancreas decades ago, and he wound up having the Whipple surgery. If you don't know what that is, Google that. To piece him back together after that, he was a fucking mess. So he already had a shit ton of ailments and doctor's appointments that he had to go to. Just the dialysis that he did here in the house, just that was $58,000 a month. A month. $60,000 a month. That doesn't include the insulin and the host of pills and all the other doctors and the cardiologist and the urologist and the thisologist and all of that shit that he had outside of this. That alone was 60 grand a month. But yet through all of it, he didn't pay a fucking dime. How does that suck? How do you look at that and say, that sucks? Excuse me. Are there flaws in the system? Yeah. Is that flawed? It's absolutely flawed. Does it suck? No. We need that for every person in the country. Every man, woman, and child. Here, legal or not. Every human being in this country. That's what we need.